Alongside me here this morning, Thomas Symonds, Shadow Security Minister and Shadow Solicitor-General. Good morning
Good
to
morning.
you. So today is the big day where Theresa May will have her Brexit withdrawal agreement debated. But there's a bit of a hold-up because the government are being held in contempt of Parliament. That will be debated first. What do you want the results of that debate to be today?
The most important thing for us is actually to have disclosed to members of Parliament the full legal advice on the legal implications of the withdrawal agreement. It's something that Parliament unanimously passed a motion for on the 13th of November, some time ago now. If it had been disclosed as it should have been some time ago, there would be no need for a delay today. And what that will do is allow parliamentarians in these crucial 5 days of debate to make a decision on the meaningful vote next week with the fullest possible information.
OK, so at the end of today's debate, will the government publish that advice in full? Is that going to be the end result to all of this?
If the vote rather, is won today, our motion is very clear. Yes, it is about ministers in contempt of Parliament, because that's the procedure we have to use in order to enforce the will of the House of Commons from the 13th of November. But our motion is very clear that the legal advice should be disclosed immediately, and that's absolutely what we're trying to do. 6 political parties.
That's what you're trying to push through, but can you actually make it happen? Because you're going to have this debate today, and it's delaying the debate that everyone wants, which is about the Brexit withdrawal agreement. Can you actually get the government to give you that full advice? You're going through this motion. Will it result in the publication of that full legal advice?
Yes, because that's what the motion says and makes very clear, and it's very, very important. 6 different political parties came together yesterday to write to the Speaker about this. We shouldn't be in this position. The government didn't even muster 1 vote against this on the 13th of November. They should have disclosed this advice already. And even at this late stage, I urge them to do so. Disclose that advice, give MPs the fullest possible information, and then we can move on with the debate.
If they're found in contempt of Parliament, what do you think the punishment should be?
Well, if that happens, then there will be a referral to the Standards and Privileges Committee, and they would be able to decide who is to receive a sanction and what the nature of that might be, whether that's suspension or something else. But for me, the most important issue is that advice. This is the procedure we have to use to get it. Let's get hold of that advice and make the best possible decision next week.
Why is it so important for Labour to see that legal advice in full? Because let's face it, you could see it and you're still going to vote against Theresa May's deal.
Well, you can obviously make a political judgment, and of course that is what I'm here as a parliamentarian to do on the information that's before me. But there are aspects that the government simply hasn't given us at the moment about the legal position. And let me just give you one example. I asked the Attorney-General yesterday about the situation that is very clear in the withdrawal agreement, that even in the event that the government did negotiate a trade deal, parts of the so-called Northern Ireland backstop can still come into operation. So it isn't the case that the Northern Irish backstop could be only wholly replaced by a trade agreement. It could be partly replaced. And I said quite simply yesterday to the Attorney-General, if that is the case, it can be partly replaced, that's what the document says. You tell me which aspects of the backstop are most likely to become permanent in that situation. A huge question for our economic future, our political future, and the constitution.
Huge question they might not have the answer to yet, though. Because this is obviously the withdrawal agreement. The future of the relationship between the EU and the UK is yet to be negotiated, so they might not have that answer yet.
No. What I'm referring to is in the withdrawal agreement, which is legally binding. So the point I'm making is that there would have to be some advice as to what the legal implications are of that provision that I've just mentioned. And that is just an example of something that I've asked a question about, that I've looked at the so-called legal commentary that's been published, obviously listened carefully to the statement from the Attorney-General yesterday, and that's just one thing that hasn't been answered. It's why it's so important we see the full implications of what Parliament is being asked to sign up to next Tuesday.
Would there be anything in there when it's published that would make Labour change their mind on how they're going to vote on Theresa May's deal? Because, you know, some people are thinking that Labour are playing politics with this. It's frustrating the process because whatever's in that legal document, as a party, you've made up your mind to vote against Theresa May's deal, come hell or high water.
Well, we're not frustrating the process because this motion went through Parliament on the 13th of November. The government could have complied with it long ago and should have complied with it long ago. In addition to that, it isn't just about the Labour Party. 6 political parties were signatories to that letter to the Speaker of the House of Commons yesterday. This is about Parliament, and Parliament wanted to see the fullest possible information. Why on earth, on the most significant constitutional, political, economic decision of decades, shouldn't MPs be able to see the fullest information to make the best informed decision we possibly can?